All right, y'all. Hey, what's up, good PC? Welcome to a brand new Talkin and Grubbin live stream. Was supposed to start at 8, but due to technical difficulties, I'm starting here a little later. So apologize. How's everybody doing on this Monday night? Hope all y'all doing good. I'm doing good. What's up, Claude? How you doing? Thanks for joining me. All right, tonight gonna give my take on DeShaun Watson as it was announced this morning. Judge Sue Robinson ruled that DeShaun Watson should be suspended for 6 games. Now, for those of you already know, early last year, he was accused by multiple women of sexual misconduct. It jumped initially was 22, but it jumped to 26, and all these women who were massage therapists filed civil suits against him. He settled 23 of the 24. Two of the victims, two of the accusers, went on HBO Real Sports back in April or May to interview with Soledad O'Brien to talk about their ordeal with Deshaun Watson. At the time they provided their services to him. All right. Seeing some folks up in here. I'm gonna get to y'all in a minute. Got some grub here, got some mixed vegetables and some chicken. I'm about to get into it. I'm hungry. Once again, once again, my apologies for the technical difficulties. Thank y'all for being patient. Fortunately, I can't go live on Facebook because Facebook has restricted my account. So I'm trying to work on that right now. Claude, you said a long time no see. Same here. How you been though? What's up, Bruce? How you been? Thanks for joining me. Also, I'm gonna drop the link in a few. If you want to come join me live to talk about it, you definitely can. The 6 games ain't too bad, Claude. All right, Bruce, you said QC, I feel the judge making a big mistake for DeShaun settled all the cases but one. If the NFL gonna suspend him, they must say why. All right. Bruce, you also said I feel the NFL not gonna do anything to the white QB, but they the racist league. Like I tell you always, QC, I feel he's gonna get suspended if all case is settled. Because the NFL always gonna go rule against the black quarterback. Claude, you said you ain't doing too bad. Okay, cool. Okay. What's up, News Cycle? One of my members. How you doing, man? Thanks for joining me. Yeah, you right, Claude. Robert Kraft got caught and no punishment, and the dude was on videotape. That's the crazier part. That man was literally caught on tape, and they didn't do anything. Now, as you all know, back in late March, DeShaun Watson was traded to the Cleveland Browns for 3 future first round picks. And also, not too long right after the trade, the Browns gave DeShaun Watson the richest contract in NFL history for a quarterback, $230 million, fully guaranteed. And that definitely set off a lot of NFL owners as well as fans, but especially the owners. By owners were against the deal. The most vocal was Steve Buscemi, the owner of the Baltimore Ravens. As we all know, he's going through negotiations with Lamar Jackson right now, as Lamar is trying to secure the bag for himself with a new deal. And he's acting as his own agent. So we definitely know Steve Buscemi don't want to come off of that money for Lamar, because we know what Lamar's trying to command. Kyler Murray, just got his extension a week ago. Not fully guaranteed, but still some nice chunk of change. And the Cardinals, they did a dumb move by putting in that film study clause in his contract. Yeah, Bruce, you're right about Dan Snyder. He had all kinds of women from his staff complain about him, complain about being sexually harassed by him, and nothing happened. Okay, news cycle. You said haven't been on the streams in a while, but my thoughts are this: had the NFL had a feeling the NFL would lay down the punishment on Watson, and the media cannot stand the fact he's only suspended 6 games. Oh, definitely. Not just the media. A lot of people on social media are upset over Watson just getting hit with 6 games. Now, either the NFL, the NFLPA, or Roger Goodell, they have 3 days to decide whether or not they want to appeal the ruling on DeShaun Watson. And if that happens, then Roger Goodell will definitely have the ultimate say. He could up it up anywhere from 8 games to a full year, which the NFL owners wanted anyway. What's up, Bill? Missed you too, man. How you been? New Bruce, you said QC. I feel Robert Kraft got to go. He threw out the judge had the tape. destroyed. No matter of fact, Robert Kraft told the prosecution to destroy the tape. Now, where they do that at? I never heard any defense lawyer tell a prosecutor to destroy any evidence. Claude, you said Watson should sue the league. Dale, you said DeShaun Watson is guilty. Man, Bill, just because he settled, a lot of people say, well, he should have been fighting. I mean, come on, you got 20 plus women suing you. You know how long you're going to be in and out of court? I mean, come on, that drains you financially, emotionally, sometimes even physically. So I don't blame him for settling. Like, let it go. Like, give him the money, make it go away, move on. Because if you go to court and lose, then not only you got to pay the settlements, you also got court costs as well, and also lawyer fees. Sometimes in those rulings, the judge can make the person responsible pay for the other person's legal fees. So him going to court to fight this would have been more expensive than him just settling bail. As a matter of fact, let's keep it real. Majority of civil suits end in settlements anyway. Very rare a settlement. I mean, a civil suit goes to court. Very rare. Yep, selling does not mean guilt, Bill. Now, if you want to say guilty of bad judgment, okay, we can have that talk. But of what he was accused of, nah. All right, make sure y'all hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Make sure it's not your last. Hit that subscribe button, ding that notification bell, and click all so you don't miss any videos or lives from me. All right. Also, share this on your social media platforms. Okay, Claude, you agree with Bill. News site, you said, I feel a myriad of owners have to get their sense of punishment. Why hasn't the media hold their feet to the fire? Oh, easy. You know what? And shout out to this podcaster on YouTube named First We Build. Check out his channel. He's been talking about the whole DeShaun Watson situation, fellow Clevelander. Well, he's from Cleveland, currently lives down in Atlanta. Shout out to him. And he played a video from Colin Cowherd the other day on his podcast. This is when the whole New York Times article came out where it was found out that DeShaun Watson met with 66 massage therapists over a 17-month period. And basically, Colin Cowherd says that, guys like Robert Kraft, Jerry Jones, Stan Kroenke, who owned the Rams, these are influencers, made men in the NFL, while Jimmy Haslam isn't. So basically, to me, this is just my opinion. Not only Colin Cowherd told on himself, he also told on his fellow members of the media. The reason why they don't want to go after people like Robert Kraft and Dan Snyder, because they're scared that for a few reasons. One, they're scared that, they're going to put a call into the top executives at whatever network they are, get them fired. Two, they have so much pulling with the NFL, with Roger Goodell. And third, they don't want to get a nasty remark, from one of those owners. Because look at Rich Eisen. Rich Eisen, while this whole thing was going on, he wanted DeShaun Watson to just go down like the dude killed somebody. But when it came to Robert Kraft, he was joking about it on his own show. So it's like, well, where's that same energy? And Claude pointed out that greatly, double standard. That's very true. It's just double standards all around. Bruce, you said QCC, Robert Kraft, Snyder, both the rapists, and nothing happens to them. But DeShaun settles all cases, but one gets suspended. Oh, definitely. Oh, racism definitely played a part in this, Bruce. Anybody who think it doesn't, you either are naive or you got your head in the sand. Because, like I said, okay, we're in this Me Too era where we're supposed to believe all women, stand with all women, but when it came to people like Robert Kraft and Dan Snyder, Dan Snyder was accused by multiple women of sexual harassment, no outrage. I didn't hear all the, I didn't see all these spots on ESPN or Undisputed or Colin Cowherd, Show the Herd. None of these sports talk shows about how these guys should lose their team. Like I said, some people just was just so tight-lipped about Robert Kraft, try to dismiss it like it was nothing. But with DeShaun Watson, you would have thought this dude committed a capital murder or something. If you didn't know any better, didn't follow the story. Claude, you said, I'm a lifelong Steelers fan. I didn't want him to get suspended because he sat out the whole year last year. That's true. In my opinion, they should have had him. They should have just gave him time served, have him paid, give him $10 million and move on. But I figured that DeShaun was going to get hit with at least 6 games because, one, there was so much public outrage, when this story hit. Because let's be real. Okay, this story has been around for over a year. It wasn't much outrage when he was with the Texans. But once he got traded to the Browns and the Browns gave him that deal, bam, the powder keg exploded. And that's where you got all this outrage from social media, as well as the feminist groups, also the national media. So some type of punishment was going to come down because too much was invested in this. Way too much. And DeShaun, and this story moved the needle for a lot of networks, well as a lot of content creators here on YouTube. Bill, you said true. You right, brother. Okay. Bruce, you said, I feel unless the NFL got some evidence, they got to tell her not to suspend DeShaun. You said, remember. Well, Bruce with Ben initially got 6 games, was suspended for 6 games, but he ended up getting an appeal down to 4 games. And also, around that time, with Ben, the whole arbitrator thing wasn't in effect then. It was Roger Goodell handing out the punishment. Bill, you said, Bill said, I was just saying he was guilty talking because he settled. Though I was thinking, Always think when someone settled, they guilt. No, that doesn't mean somebody's guilty, Bill. That doesn't mean you guilty. You just trying to make this go away because, like I said, okay, this man got sued. Well, got sued by 26 women. That man would be in court for the next at least 3 years fighting. And like I said, it would cost him more money to keep on going to court trying to fight it than it would be to settle. Because, like I said, if the outcome don't go his way, he has to pay him anyway. Not only he has to pay the settlement, but on top of that, he's got to pay the court fees, the lawyer fees. That's way too much money. Oh, definitely, Bruce. Definitely. But yep, Colin Cowherd told, unknowingly, excuse me, told on himself and also told on his fellow members of the media. And I'm not the biggest Colin Cowherd fan by any stretch of the imagination. I think he's a cornball and he's an a-hole. But that's just me. But the reason why they did not give the same energy to owners like Robert Kraft, Dan Snyder, and also Jerry Jones, who had a staff member recording cheerleaders while they were taking a shower, because these top executives and these directors of these, news directors, excuse me, they're afraid that they're going to get a nasty call from these owners, or they might be afraid that they get opened up to a lawsuit talking about that they're for slander and defamation of character. Okay, Claude agrees with Bruce. Bruce, you also say, I feel Rich Eisen is the most, just the racist for to protect the white player owner and attack the black QB like DeShaun. Yeah, man, I definitely lost some love for Rich Eisen behind that, because, like, man, come on, dude. How you going to sit up and just have all this venom and vitriol for Watson, but Robert Kraft gets caught in a human trafficking sting and you just joking about it? Like, come on, man. And a lot of them who just sat them and made it was just so nonchalant and blasé about it. Like, this, where the parlor Robert Kraft got caught up in was being investigated for human trafficking. That's not good either. Just like sexual misconduct isn't good. The only thing Deshaun Watson was guilty of was bad judgment. That's all. And you can't criminalize bad judgment. We've all had bad judgment at one time or another. Heck, most of us are going to use bad judgment in the future. But I also knew, when the New York Times article came out saying that he saw 66 masseuses over a 17-month period, it looked like, from the get-go, the NFL was trying to either get a year or an indefinite suspension. And I knew that wasn't going to happen, because what's your argument for this? What, besides the media and public in the court of public opinion? That's not enough. And then in the ruling that came out over a month ago with Judge Sue Robinson, it was found out, the 5 cases that were heard, it was found out that Watson didn't use any violence, threats, or coercion with any of these women. Any of these women in the 5 cases that were heard, because one eventually got thrown out due to a lack of credibility. Bruce, you said, I feel the NFLPA got to make the stand and not playing games till Deshaun is allowed to play, or until Snyder or the rich white owners go to jail. He also said, I feel he settled everything, and he says he's not guilty. I believe DeShaun. Well, from what I heard, the NFLPA is not going to override the decision. They're going to just stick with it. But if the NFL really tries to nail DeShaun Watson to the wall, I do think that's when the NFLPA is going to try to go after the NFL and go to federal court. To me, like I said, I think the NFL just wants this done, because if this goes to federal court, then guess what? All the owner stuff comes out in the open, because we all know John Gruden last year with the emails to Snyder. Only a few of those got leaked out. There was a lot more. So what was the NFL trying to do? Was trying to, keep under wraps. That's gonna come out, because I think a lot of those emails were a lot more egregious than what was put out in the media. What's up, LT? How you doing? Says always justice with money, but no justice for a human being. You definitely right, LT. I've been telling people this was a money grab from the get-go. I mean, only a few women wanted to prosecute him criminally, but majority of these women just jumped right into the civil suits. And also, get this, majority of these women met with DeShaun Watson after they said he, committed after he violated them. So if this man violated you, why did you keep on offering him your business? I mean, kept on taking his business and offering services to him, because also in the deposition I read with one of the accusers, after Watson met with her, he recommended 2 other NFL players to her. And they, provided her with some business. One of them did mess around with her while the other one didn't. So if this guy was such a creep, why did you keep on providing services to him? Or also, why you didn't have someone go with you? Or say if this was in a parlor setting, why you didn't have security outside of the room? So, I definitely question that. Because if this person, you're accusing of sexual misconduct, you're not going to keep on going back to see them. And also, this was what, the 24th or the 26th accuser. It was one of the most recent ones that said that DeShaun Watson ended up, how can I put this? Ended up being one with himself in front of her, and they ended up finishing, say, on her. Now this took place at her house. So you saying you just stand there and let this man do that to you in front of, just let him do that to you? You didn't try to get a neighbor or call the police? Or say it was an apartment, you didn't try to go to get the property manager, get security to get him escorted? Because if the cops would have caught him doing it, that's dead to rights. Am I right? Claude, you said Big Ben was a great QB, but a low moral value dude. Bruce, you said QC, I feel like to punch Colin Cowherd in the face and Skip Bayless and Stephen A. too. Believe me, Bruce, you're not the only one. There's a lot, Bruce. In order to do that, you got to take a number, man. You're gonna have to take a number. Said I would not do it. Said QC, I feel these women mostly trying to get money. Oh yeah, this was a money grab from the get-go. And it really accelerated once DeShaun Watson got the deal with the Browns. It really accelerated. Definitely accelerated. And also, to me, everybody has all this energy for Deshaun Watson. What about this energy for the Texans? You know, they were implicit in this whole thing. You know, a few weeks ago, they just settled with 30 other women. So where's their punishment? You know, why not fine them or have them, lose some revenue share? Because for those who don't know, that every NFL team gets a share of revenue every year. So that should be their fine. They lose their revenue share, or at least lose, say, I don't know, at least 70% of it. And also the Browns get one of those first round draft picks back. So it's like, if you're going to in the NFL's conduct policy, they taking it all online, off the internet. We all know why. But it says that the players and the owners are both held to the same standard. But right now, the NFL's they're not living up to what they agreed on paper. Excuse me. Because why is it Deshaun Watson is the only one being held accountable, but the Texans aren't? And also, get this, the lawyer who represented the women, Tony Busby, he is also neighbors with the Texans owner and good friends with the Texans owner. Bruce, you said, QC, I feel the NFL covers for the white player and coaches and owners. Said, LT, I feel you 100. Said, QC, they the gold diggers. He also said, do you feel the Celtics going to... No, I'm going to do a video on that, Bruce. But I want to really talk about this whole Deshaun Watson thing. Now, Watson suspended for 6 games. As I said earlier, the NFL could appeal it, or Roger Goodell. Today is Monday, so they have until Wednesday. Wednesday or Thursday to file an appeal. To me, this is just my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't think the NFL is going to appeal this, because this has been the news for over a year. It's been enough already, and they want this to go away, especially now with, training camp has started. We're about to start the preseason this Thursday with the Hall of Fame game. They don't want this to linger, because if they if they go for an appeal, they're making this go on longer. Excuse me. They're definitely making this whole thing go on longer. Also, this is the first major case under the new setup with the arbitrator, Judge Sue Robertson. This was her first big case that she ruled on. And also, if Goodell or the NFL really try to step on her decision, try to basically just say, oh, it's not enough, and try to overstep their bounds, that's going to make them look bad. That's definitely going to make the NFL look bad, because this was something that Goodell, the NFL owners, and the NFLPA agreed to in the collective bargain agreement that was, excuse me, that was created in 2020. So you're going to overstep your bounds on the setup that you agreed to, just because you didn't get what you want. Just because you're mad that she didn't side with you, that she in a way sided with Deshaun Watson over you. Because the NFL, like I said, the NFL, they wanted him to either get a year or an indefinite suspension. Let's keep it real. This is not about This is not about the women. This is about money. Just like it's about money with the women, it's about money with the NFL as well. They were very upset that the Browns gave Deshaun Watson that deal. They were, because now the Browns have reset the market. Excuse me again. So now these owners are looking at the fact now they have to pay their star quarterbacks, their star players, similar amounts of money, and they don't want to do that. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna give you this. If this were New Jack City, the Haslam's would be Nino Brown, and the NFL owners would be the Italian mob. You know, as y'all, well, for most of y'all seen New Jack City. Everything was cool when, you know, Wesley Snipes and CMB were getting all their product from the Italian mob, but once they started to blow up and rise to power, they decided to become more self-sufficient and told the mob, said, hey, we don't need y'all no more. We doing our own thing. We gonna, you know, we gonna go to these Peruvian dudes and get our product from now on. And that really upset the mob for not only financial reasons, but we all know racist reasons as well. And as I heard, you know, at the owners' meetings a few months ago, that Jimmy and D Haslam were not popular with a lot of owners over that contract. So he figured, like, okay, well, let's show them for signing him to that kind of money by hitting him with a long suspension. Okay, Bruce, you agree with LT? Bruce said, I feel they shouldn't trade them for KD. He said, I'm very mad at the NFL for, you know, I've been saying that they racist for 2 years and they proved it. Claude, you said D. Watson should learn from this because, to be honest, he should have used better judgment. I totally agree. That's the only thing, in my opinion, Watson's guilty of is bad judgment. That's all he's guilty of. And he definitely has to use better judgment next time around. But I don't think this man should get a whole year over it. Because there are NFL players who've done worse. And didn't even and people weren't talking about giving them that much time. And also, it may be a little bit off kilter, but hey, seeing 66 massage therapists, long as ain't nothing illegal happen, is not illegal. However you may feel about it, it's still not illegal. As long as there's no proof that he did anything wrong or immoral, hey, it was his right to do it. Like I said, not good judgment, but that was his right. Bruce said, QC, I feel the NFLPA got to stand up and say no. Say, I feel Congress got to investigate the racism in the NFL. News cycle, you said, oh yeah, Busby, you said, I was going to mention that Tony Busby is neighbors with the Texas owner, which is why it seemed fishy from the jump. That's true. Now, the Texans definitely were implicit in this whole thing with Watson. Now, it was all fine and dandy as long as he was there. But as soon as he requested a trade wanted to trade out of Houston, bam, that's when all these allegations, all these women just popped up. So I definitely find that very suspect. Like, as soon as the man says he doesn't want to play for the Texans anymore, now all these women are coming out of the woodwork saying that he, you know, committed some sexual misconduct against them. Okay, news cycle, you agree with Bruce? Bruce, you said, I feel so mad. I'm going to protest, not watch any games for at least the whole preseason, maybe week 1 and more. New, you said, QC, I just wanted to add a point of reference. Since social media and sports media, so-called moderators like Molly Karam, co-host Mina Kimes, and Joy Taylor want to ridicule Watson. Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially Molly. Molly just went way hard to paint on DeShaun Watson during this whole thing, saying that maybe he needs to get 2 years. Like Molly, come on. You want this man to serve this lengthy suspension for really based on hearsay and word of mouth. There's no evidence that he did this with these women. And Mina Kimes, I'm glad you mentioned her. As about over a month ago, she said, well, the Browns, they're going to pay for their arrogance and, for their arrogant ways. Like, what? Do you know before DeShaun Watson chose the Browns, 13 other teams wanted to acquire him? Also, there were 4 teams. Well, it was narrowed down to 4 teams. So what? Because before he chose the Browns, the Saints, the Falcons, and Panthers were all favorites to land him. For various reasons. Some people thought the Saints would be a great fit because they had a ready-made team. Some people felt the Falcons would be a great fit because, that's home. That's in the Atlanta area. And some people thought the Panthers would be a great fit due to the fact, the Clemson ties. So, Mina, if those teams would have acquired Watson instead of the Browns, would you still feel that way? Or is it just because it's the Browns? And sometimes I find myself asking myself that. Had DeShaun Watson went to those 3 teams, how would the reaction be right now? Because also Colin Cowherd mentioned in that video saying, well, the Browns made this move. We're desperate to be relevant, so they made this move. So 13 other teams were trying to get him. Would they been desperate? Or it would have just been a great move by those teams? That's just my Browns fan talking. That's just the Browns fan in me wondering. And Joy just wants to ridicule Watson because she's a Steelers fan. She's from Pittsburgh. And she damn sure can't talk about Watson because she was rooting for Big Ben for decades, and look what Big Ben was accused of. That's the last fan base that should be talking about anybody's character flaws. Because I bet any amount of money right now, most of those Steelers fans got a Big Ben jersey somewhere. So that's a fan base that definitely needs to shut the hell up when it comes to character flaws. Because guess what? Y'all don't have too many high character guys on your team either. But I definitely can't stand Molly. She talks too much. And a lot of times when she's talking, she don't be right on a lot of stuff. I see why Jalen Rose divorced her. He made a wise choice. Because she's always talking and don't say nothing. I'll admit her and Joy are beautiful. Well, both her and Joy are beautiful women, but Joy most of the time knows what she's talking about. But Molly, she's beautiful, but a lot of times she talks too much, and when she talks, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Luigi said, I would love to see them have the same energy for Trevor Bauer. Right. Trevor Bauer was caught dead to rights beating up. Well, Trevor Bauer, that was more proof with Trevor Bauer than DeShaun Watson. And you didn't hear this much outrage. Clark, you said, and I don't forget that Houston, Texas grand jury. Right. Well, excuse me, they didn't want to indict him. All right, good people, I'm going to step away for a quick moment. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, y'all. Now, Claude, when I'm saying Steelers fans, I don't mean you. I ain't talking about you. I'm just talking about the ones who had that moral high ground mindset. I ain't talking about you. I went off on a tangent. I ain't saying every Steelers fan have that mindset. So, Claude, I don't want you to think I mean you. Okay, you said you wasn't offended. Just making sure. Bill, you said facts 100 talking. Say you're exactly right. Right. That was more, like I said, it was more proof with Bauer than DeShaun Watson. All this stuff with DeShaun Watson is hearsay. The only thing DeShaun Watson is guilty of is using bad judgment. That's all it was. Claude, you said you were speaking the truth. But I mean, look, every NFL team has had some guys with some issues. I don't care what team you root for. The Ravens. Ray Lewis was, involved in a murder. Ray Rice, he was involved in a domestic violence situation with his wife. And in my opinion, I don't think he should have suffered because of that, because that was between them. And also, what he did to her was an accident. It wasn't intentional. And no, for anybody who watches this, no, I do not condone domestic violence, because Chad Wheeler, he needs to be thrown under the jail for what he did to that sister. What he did to his ex-girlfriend. He nearly took her life. But we don't hear outrage over that, do we? And I think we know why. And Josh Brown, he was beating his ex-wife for years and kept journals of what he was doing to her. And the Giants were still trying to keep him. It wasn't until public outrage said, no, he needs to go. But still, every NFL team has a guy that has questionable issues, past or present, and future. You know, my problem is people make it like, oh, it's only the Browns that did this, but every other NFL team has done it. With no, well, I mean, yeah, have they gotten their share of backlash? Yeah. But the only difference is social media wasn't prevalent, you know, back around that, well, back then like it is now. Because imagine if the whole Ray Lewis thing happened in the age of social media. You think people talk about it now, you know, even though it's been 20 plus years, it would be like what heightened 5 times worse if Ray Lewis was playing now, well, was in his prime now in this social media era, and we were talking about his murder situation. Also with the Bengals, Joe Mixon, he ended up getting into a scrap with a girl in college. We don't hold that against him. Kareem Hunt, he ended up getting into a situation with a woman, you know, here in Cleveland a few years ago while he was still a member of the Chiefs. But what messed him up was he shouldn't have held it from the Chiefs. But he was defending himself because he was being attacked. And once again, no, I do not condone violence against women. I don't want people watching this, the live stream or the replay, thinking I condone violence against women. I don't. I definitely don't. Because no matter how mad a woman makes you, you should not go that it shouldn't, you know, get to that point. Especially with your mate or your spouse. If it's like that, you two need to just go your separate ways and leave each other alone. But now with this whole DeShaun Watson thing, you know, the main thing that came out of the whole Me Too movement was believe all women. No, you don't believe all women. You hear all women. Because saying believe all women no matter what, guess what? That's a dangerous game to play, because there are a certain group of women that do lie. Not all, but there are a certain group that will lie about something like this. And there have been a lot of men who went to jail behind this. Also, you know, women who do that, they are really definitely dogging, disrespecting, and making mockery of true victims that have gone through, you know, sexual assault, molestation, as well as other sex crimes. And the true victims that have gone through those ordeals, my heart goes out to y'all, because I know a few females that have gone through that. So my heart is definitely going out to them. But the true victims of that, y'all need to start calling out these women that do sit up and lie. Y'all definitely do, because they're making mockery of the pain that y'all went through, the trauma that y'all suffered, and in some cases still suffer. Because no way nobody should be using that just to get some money. Because you can't put no kind of price on, you know, somebody's virtue. You can't. And once that's been violated, that's something you can't get. That's something you can't ever get back. Definitely can't. Now, if there was evidence that proved DeShaun Watson did all this, then hey, he deserves what he gets coming to. He would definitely get what he deserves. But this whole thing got started based on hearsay. And got started on an overzealous lawyer who was in on the money grab too, just like the females were. Claude, you said, do you really care what Molly or any other? Not really, especially Molly. Like I said, Molly talks too much and she doesn't say anything. It's like, what? It's like, why does ESPN keep you around? Why? And also before that, she was at the NFL Network. I see why the NFL Network let her go. I don't think she quit. I think they fired her. I could be wrong. Said Molly's nothing more than a dumbass who looks good. Well, Claude, a lot of people share that sentiment. I'm one of them. That's the messed up part. She's fine too. Like I said, no wonder why Jalen Rose got away from her. He said, I got to divorce you. This is too much. Shoot, ever since Jalen's divorced her, Jalen been doing better. She been dressing sharper. Got his swag back. Jalen's doing a lot better since he left Molly. Bill, you said for a paycheck talking. Yeah, true. What's up, Rick? How you doing? Said female. He said what? Said a female Houston detective had hard evidence. Her evidence was suppressed, and there wasn't no evidence, Rick, and it wasn't suppressed. She did testify to the prosecutor saying that she believed DeShaun Watson did these crimes. There was no evidence to back it up. And also, it sounded like the evidence she had wouldn't have been credible if the whole thing would have went to trial. Any judge with some sense would have threw her evidence out because all she had was her word and her feeling. When you're doing a case like this, it's supposed to be about facts and evidence, not what you feel, not what you think. Rick, I remember reading about that. She was basically going by what she felt, and she would have been a credible witness because her whole case would have been built on her bias. Clark, you said ESPN keeps her around because Stephen A needs a side chick. Clark said absolutely no evidence. But yeah, I remember reading that article, Rick. I remember that article. Saying that there was evidence suppressed. Well, only thing is like, okay, what evidence did she have? Did she have some clothing? Did she have Watson's, DNA? Like, what evidence did she have? And what prosecutor's definitely gonna keep that out? Especially if it's a high-profile black man. Said, but there again, that's the media. Great. So if this whole thing would have went to trial, she wouldn't have been credible because she didn't build a case, and her case wasn't strong. Like for something like that, you definitely gotta have a strong case, or at least have some strong evidence to back it up. Rick, that would be like me saying, back in 2005, my house got broken into and $300 missing, and it was you, Rick. I know it was you. I don't got no proof that you broke into my house, took the money. I'm just saying It's you. You did it. I'm just blaming you. Rick, I want my 300 back, man. No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just playing. I'm just messing with you, man. But seriously, you can't build a case based on just what you think. Definitely can't build a case on what you think. So I got a question for people that are watching. Do you think the NFL is going to appeal, or do you think the NFL is just going to roll with Judge Robertson's decision and just leave it alone? Let me know y'all thoughts. Because in my opinion, if they try to appeal, they're keeping this going, and also it's going to make them look bad because they're stepping on, on their arbitrators' first big case, which was agreed upon by Goodell, the NFL owners, and the NFLPA. Okay, so Claude, you think they're gonna? Okay, Claude, you think they're gonna? Okay, you think the NFL or Goodell is gonna appeal? Okay, so Claude, what do you think is gonna happen with the appeal? Ricky said, I also read somewhere DeShaun texted one of the girls and offered her money after she left and sent veiled threats through text. Oh no, I don't think he threatened her, because if that was the case, it would have popped. It would have been in Robinson's, Robinson's findings, and that would have came out during the whole, the whole trial with Robinson, Watson, and the NFL, and it was proven that Watson did not use any violence, he didn't use any threats, and he didn't coerce any of these women. Oh, okay, Claude, you think they won't appeal? My bad. You think they won't appeal? Said the NFL doesn't increase the suspension, they will lose millions to the new quote-unquote snowflake public. That's not true, because Rick, the NFL wants this to go away. They do. I mean, this whole Watson thing's been in the news for over a year. And now training camp has started. Preseason's about to start soon. And in a month, the regular season's going to kick off. NFL don't want this. So if they appeal, they're keeping this going. Because the NFLPA said, we're not going to appeal Sue. And not just her, them, DeShaun Watson's camp said, we're not going to appeal Sue Robinson's decision. What none of these likes. So if the NFL keeps on trying to keep this going, then this basically looks like a vendetta against Watson, and it looks like a witch hunt. Oh, of course it's gonna be outrage, Rick. Says some people won't let it go away. That's true. To me, it don't matter, if DeShaun Watson would have gotten 6 games, 8 games, 10 games, 12 games, even a year. Everybody's not going to be satisfied. They're not, because some people, especially on social media, they want him to get 2 years like Trevor Bauer. They want some even yelling, oh, he should be banned for life. Like, whoa, over that? I think there's a lot of people in the NFL that need a lifetime ban. DeShaun Watson ain't one of them. Claude, you said you remember when the so-called experts said that the NFL was going to lose fans over the flag BS, and now the NFL, right? And most of those people who were outraged were just, let's just be real. I mean, most of them were just crazy Trump. Well, were crazy Trump supporters or just, so-called patriots. All right, y'all excuse me for a brief moment. All right, I'm back, good people. Okay. Probably within the next 30 minutes, I'm gonna be getting off of here. Clark, you said most of them who was mad are white folks with a nickel and mad at a brother with a dime. That's very true. That's who definitely were outraged about, the anthem protest. Very outraged. And those type of people yell about free speech, but then they want to stump on others freedom of speech. And don't realize how hypocritical they are. Definitely don't realize how much of a hypocrite they are. All right, good people. If you want to donate to the channel, you can donate via Cash App or PayPal. Here's the Cash App cash tag. $ Talkin and Grubbin. Also, here's the PayPal email address. talkingandgrubbin@gmail.com. Also, while I'm live here tonight or during any live stream, you could donate via super sticker, super chat, super chat, excuse me. Or if you watch any of the videos, you can donate by via the thanks icon under the video, just to show your support. And I definitely appreciate all those past and present for showing your support. I greatly appreciate you. Right, got another comment in here. Ricky said, I'm a white veteran and I never criticized the kneeling. I serve to protect their right to an opinion. Definitely, Rick. We definitely appreciate that. Appreciate you saying that. And a lot of veterans definitely had that mindset. There were some who were just great. Well, some who said they didn't agree with the kneeling, but definitely understood that was the player's right to kneel. And there were some veterans who were just outraged by it. But that was a very small fraction. That was definitely a small fraction of veterans that were outraged by the kneeling. But most veterans definitely supported the players kneeling, whether they agreed or disagreed. A lot of them felt definitely had that mindset, said, hey, whether I agree or disagree, I fought for them to have that right. But back to the DeShaun Watson situation. Now, definitely think NFL won't appeal. Like I said, I don't think the NFL wants to appeal this because they don't want this to go further and further to training camp into the preseason, because we have the Hall of Fame game coming up this weekend. Also, the enshrinement ceremony of certain players getting enshrined into, the class of 2022, such as Richard Seymour, the late Sam Mills, former head coach Dick Vermeil, as well as a few others, and had the pleasure also Leroy Butler. And I definitely had the pleasure of talking to a few of them on the, during the media session a few weeks ago. If you haven't checked out those videos, definitely check those out. Definitely was fun, picking their brains on during their playing days in the NFL and some of the experiences that they went through and what prepared them, to accomplish their goals. Whether it was, like I asked Dick Vermeil how him losing with the Eagles helped him win the Super Bowl with the Rams, and that was definitely an interesting discussion. And also, it was hilarious to hear, Richard Seymour, how he handled, those those very distant family members and long lost friends that were trying to get Super Bowl tickets. So definitely check out those interviews. But the NFL doesn't want this to go on any more longer. This story's been out too long. Over a year is more than enough. So I don't think the NFL is going to try to appeal this or Goodell, because this is the first big case under Judge Robertson as the independent arbitrator. The NFL, Goodell and the NFLPA all agreed to this process, so they would definitely look like hypocrites. Also, it would be bad publicity for them if they, came in and just stepped on the judge's decision. I mean, come on, because this woman is an ex-federal judge, and also if this thing, I hope it doesn't get to this point, but if it gets to federal court, it's not going to look too favorable for the NFL that they overstep the bounds of a former federal judge just to get what they wanted. So I don't think so. I mean, the NFL is definitely taking a hit publicly with this whole DeShaun Watson thing. A lot of people are still upset over the fact he only got 6. Well, Robertson only, gave him 6 games. Also, they're just outraged by this whole situation. So excuse me. So it seems like no matter what they do, whether the 6 games is going to stick or it gets heightened, some people are never going to be satisfied. They won't. So, in my opinion, I think the NFL, DeShaun Watson's people, and the NFLPA all want to find a happy medium that they could coexist with. Excuse me. And that's why I think they're not going to step in and try to appeal. They want to move on from this. They just want to get on with the preseason and get on with the regular season. And also, the first game, when DeShaun Watson comes back, would be against the Ravens. That'll definitely bring it. That'll definitely would bring in a lot of ratings to see Watson make his Browns debut against a division rival in the Ravens. DeShaun Watson versus Lamar Jackson. Who doesn't want to see that? People definitely want to see how DeShaun will do in his debut, how rusty he is, or how sharp he's going to look. And also, there's that certain contingent out there who wants to see the Ravens defense attack him. And those fans, I don't care whether you're a Ravens fan or not, to wish any player to be hurt or to have an injury, that's not cool. That is not cool at all. You should never wish an injury on any player, whether you like them or not. Because guess what? Because players on your favorite team could turn around and get that same injury. So definitely don't wish ill will on any player. Yes, I'm a Browns fan, but I never wish any ill will on any Browns rivals in the AFC North. I never wished ill will on the Ravens, the Bengals, even the Steelers. I never wish for any of their players to be hurt. Because, I don't want that karma to visit my team. Now, if you want to root against Watson, okay, cool, fine. That's your right. I have no problem with that. don't sit up and wish any injuries on that, wish any injury on that man, or wish, say any AFC North defense to take him out. Just because you feel he's guilty of something, or just because a certain outcome didn't go your way. And for those you are going to the games, look, just like if you're going to boo, just boo. Don't come with this like 24 on your jersey or 66, because if you do that, then you basically saying you don't care about, you don't care. That reveals a lot about you as a person, in my opinion. That reveals a lot about your character if you sit up and do that. Because basically, to me, it shows that you don't care either. You just have a selective outrage, selective outrage. In my opinion. But definitely hope that the 6 games stick, because excuse me, if Goodell or the NFL tries to add more, it looks like a witch hunt. It looks like the owners really are trying to just stick it to the Browns just for giving DeShaun Watson that contract. That's what it would definitely look like. And it would look like Goodell's just trying to appease a lot of these owners, just because they're upset over the fact that they have to pay their quarterback or star players the same kind of money that DeShaun Watson was just paid. And also, let's just look at it. I mentioned earlier, Kyler Murray, just over a week ago, got a similar deal to DeShaun Watson. Now, the whole contract is not all guaranteed, but let's just say Kyler Murray's guaranteed money is still a nice piece of change. Very nice piece of change. But anyways, y'all, I got to get out of here. I thank all of y'all for joining me. Sorry about the late start due to the technical difficulties. I greatly apologize. I will be back here live Thursday night at 7:30 for the Hall of Fame game between the Jaguars and the Raiders. And also, I will be down in Canton this weekend covering the Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony. Can't wait to bring that content to you guys. Definitely gonna be fun. Can't wait. Definitely can't wait. And can't wait to come back with y'all Thursday night for the Hall of Fame game between the Jaguars and the Raiders. Thank you, Rick. You stay safe too. You take care. Stay safe too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank all of y'all for joining me. Hope all y'all stay safe. Hope your loved ones stay safe. Y'all stay healthy. Same with your loved ones. All y'all, y'all definitely stay cool in this massive heat wave that we've had all over the country, especially to everybody out west and in the south. Y'all definitely stay cool, stay safe, do what you can. And definitely can't wait to come back here Thursday night. So make sure y'all tune in at 7:30. Until then, y'all have a good one. Love y'all to life. Salute. Y'all be safe. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your day. I'm out. I'll see y'all Thursday.